So I think at this point in the franchise, we can just admit that Daniel Craig is the most successful actor to play James Bond.
Yes. Considerably.
Since taking over the role in 2005, he's completely changed the way we view James Bond. He's brought the franchise into the 21st century, going from funny gadgets and karate chops to crying in the shower and getting his balls smacked.
I've got a little itch.
His 4 films to date have grossed more than any other Bond actor, coming in at a whopping $3,178,915,688. He's also broken the box office record for highest grossing Bond film, first in 2006 with Casino Royale, then again in 2012 with Skyfall, both of which have become some of the best reviewed Bond films in the history of the franchise. But where did it all begin? Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you back to probably the most important film on Craig's filmography, the one that most definitely helped him land the role of Bond. So let's take a look at the 2004 Mathew Vaughn film, Layer Cake. Now, before Layer Cake was a movie, it actually came to life in the form of a novel written by J.J. Connolly. The book tells the story of British gangsters, drugs, and violence. Bearing this in mind, it wasn't long before it came to the attention of Mathew Vaughn, who at this point in time was most notable for being the producer of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch, both of which were directed by Guy Ritchie, a man who at this point in time was known for his films about Jewish gangsters, faulty car doors, and violence. So, not long after the book's release, Mathew Vaughn approached J.J. Connolly about adapting this book for the big screen with Guy Ritchie to direct. Now, for unknown reasons, or possibly reasons I haven't bothered to research into, Guy Ritchie passed on the project to make Revolver, a movie so bad its main selling point is it's basically the only movie where Jason Statham has hair, and let me tell you, it's weird. So with the director's chair being left open and much of the pre-production work already being laid by Mathew Vaughn, it wasn't long until he himself stepped in to direct, and voila, we have a movie. Alright, so what's it all about? Well, if we go off the IMDb page, the film is about a successful cocaine dealer who gets 2 tough assignments from his boss on the eve of his planned early retirement, which pretty much sums it up. It's got drugs, gangsters, and violence. What's not to like? Now, this is where it gets interesting. You know how there's those movies you see with actors in them before they reach mainstream success, so it's kind of strange to see them in only 1 or 2 scenes with about 5 words of dialogue? Kind of like you're watching The Negotiator with Sam Jackson and that guy that doesn't exist anymore. And about 32 minutes into the film, suddenly there's this one shot with Paul Giamatti? Oh, so that's weird. Or what about watching Donnie Brasco with Al Pacino and Johnny Depp? And about an hour and 16 minutes into the film, we get this scene with Paul Giamatti. Like, he's not even, if you go to the credits, he's just listed as like FBI technician. He doesn't even have a fucking character name. And what about The Truman Show? Great movie. You get about an hour into the movie, it's Jim Carrey, it's Ed Harris, and you know what? It's Paul Giamatti again. So yeah, Layer Cake is one of those films. It's got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 actors in it who went mainstream famous after this movie. Now, check out this crackhead girl, mowing down poor innocent farmers. That's Sally Hawkins. You might remember her from her breakout performance in the 2017 Academy Award-winning Best Picture, The Shape of Water. Or what about Michael Gambon, who went from dealing cocaine to the criminal underbelly of London in Layer Cake to dealing cocaine to the witches and wizards of Hogwarts as Professor Dumbledore. And let's not forget Tom Hardy. He's been making masks look sexy since 2012. He's made some absolute bangers like Bronson, Inception, and Dunkirk. But he also did Venom, so, you know. And also, lastly, Daniel Craig. Now, it's hard not to think of Daniel Craig as one of the world's biggest movie stars, jumping off cranes, blowing up stuff and seducing the ladies, but if you cast your mind back a few years, back around the time when he was in Lay a Cake, to the year 2004, Daniel Craig's really only had two prominent film roles. The first was in 2001, the action-adventure film Lara Croft Tomb Raider, where he plays the American adventurer Alex West. And his second major film role, prior to Lay a Cake, was in 2002, with the Sam Mendes film Road to Perdition, where he played Connor Rooney. And that's basically it. Everything else in his filmography is kinda meh. Although there is that one film, The Mother, where Daniel Craig basically just bangs a 65-year-old lady for the entirety of the film. I'm not making this up, go check it out. So why did Vaughn cast Daniel Craig? Well, I may as well let him explain it.
I've always been a fan of Daniel's, and the films he's done that I like, he doesn't, but, I'm a Tomb Raider fan. And I just thought Daniel had it all, in the sense that he's a fantastic actor, makes my life a lot easier. And I wanted someone who had the confidence to look like they're doing nothing most of the time, with some very good actors, on the set look like they're trying to steal the scenes half the time. And Daniel just knew what he was doing, and I think, would you cast anyone else other than Daniel?
You're gonna need one of these.
Fuck me, Gene. I fucking hope not.
Now, I want to draw your attention to this scene here. It's about 41 minutes into the film, and Daniel Craig's character is handed a pistol. A Chinese-made Type 67 semi-automatic silenced pistol. And he decides to test it out.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Now, this is probably the part where any good researcher probably would have got a copy of Lay a Cake on DVD, because in this scene in particular, there's this part where Mathew Vaughn actually talks about it on the audio commentary track, about how he instructed Daniel Craig to be like Bond in this scene. But I'm not a good researcher, so you're just stuck with me saying this to you on camera. But if you actually look at it, you can see that he very much is like Bond. Enjoy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So yeah, you can really see him as Bond in this scene, which is also eerily reminiscent of that first scene in Skyfall. And the Bond coincidences don't stop there. You guys remember Q? Or the young Q, played by Ben, played by Ben. Well, here he is 8 years earlier in Lay a Cake. Now, I did have a whole spiel planned out for this conclusion about Daniel Craig and Guy Ritchie and James Bond, but we're getting close to 9 minutes on this thing, and I'm very lazy, so we're just going to wrap this up now and give you the cliff notes. So, you see this place here that Daniel Craig's character lives in? Well, you know who actually lived there at one point? Guy Ritchie. And what about this apartment over here? You know who also used to live in that apartment? Guy Ritchie. And what about this guy here? Dexter Fletcher. You might actually recognize him from that other Guy Ritchie film, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, where he played Soap. And what about Jason Fleming, who was also in that Guy Ritchie film, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. You know, you get the point here, right? So let's just pretend that I've made some profound comment about how Guy Ritchie has left his mark on Lay a Cake, much like Daniel Craig has left his mark on the James Bond franchise for years to come. Boom. Done. End of video. Alrighty, what's going on, people? I hope you liked that video just as much as I enjoyed editing it. If you'd like to support the channel, there's always my Patreon, which has all of 0 subscribers right now, or you don't even call them subscribers, I don't know what you call them. If you got any good movie recommendations, as always, please hit me up in the comments below. And if you'd just like to tell me how shit the video is, also please hit me up in the comments below. Have a great day, guys.